Ahoy and welcome into the Junk Drawer, part of the Korked Bats podcast network. Today is November 4th, 2023, or at least that's the day we're recording this. I'm Kenny from Korked Bats, one of the hosts of the Junk Drawer podcast. Today I'm joined by two other members of Korked Bats. First and foremost, let's start here in the middle with our good friend Tom. Tom, how are you?
I'm great. Happy to be here.
Good. Glad you're here. And then we are also joined by our good friend Mob. Mob, how are you?
Howdy.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you're new to the Junk Drawer, welcome. This is the official catch-all podcast of Korked Bats. We're just here to have a good time and talk about whatever we want to. Our main segment, as always, is Good, Back, and Ugly, where we talk about what we find, good, back, and ugly. But first, Tom, name a woman.
Margot Robbie.
Bob, name a woman.
Rashida Jones.
Good. Everybody stay sharp today. It's going to be a good episode. As you can see, we're all repping our Mizzou gear. So hopefully, maybe if I've got some time, this episode will be out before the game starts today. Mizzou versus Georgia. But I think more than likely it'll come out after. So good game. The better team won. That was fun to watch. We all had a good time. Yeah.
Maybe one or too many two flags.
Or maybe more flags should have been thrown.
Right. Like, what a missed call.
Mistakes were made.
Mm-hmm.
But and that one play,
That play by that player was highlight worthy.
Yeah.
All right.
Is said coach on the hot seat after that loss?
I mean,
possibly.
Maybe. Who's to say?
Not us.
Not I. All right. Well, welcome to the Junk Drawer. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to start with our goods of the week. And I think today we should start with our friend Tom. Tom, yes. What's your good of the week?
My good of the week is the world famous sports baller, Will Smith.
Smith.
If anything, I feel like he's just a good luck charm for any team he plays on because he's got 3 consecutive World Series wins now. First with the Braves, then the Astros, and now the Texas Rangers. And I just think that's really impressive. And also, I understand that he's now a free agent again. So, Mo, if you're listening, do what's good. Do what you know is best.
So, based on my limited knowledge compared to like Kevin and Mob in regards to the St. Louis Cardinals and Mo, I will venture a guess that he will not sign him.
No, not at all.
Well, even if he did, the streak would break. So,
yeah,
you're right.
And nobody wants that,
right?
So,
I mean, the man is 34, which is like that's ancient.
He's
for
a
athletes.
Fucking dinosaur. I feel like it's like a pitcher in Major League Baseball though. There's a lot of pitchers that pitch pretty late in their 30s.
That's true.
Yeah.
You just as a pitcher, as you get older, you have to learn how to re-pitch. Like when you're young, you can be a flamethrower and just blow people away. And then when you get old, you got to be crafty.
You got to be, and you got to be tender with that arm.
Yeah.
Tender.
You can't just be ice it. Throwing those joints which way and what.
You got to know. You got to have perfect placement of your pitch. You can't just be fireballing.
Yeah.
You've got to be like the wise old willow.
Rest, ice, compression, elevation. Very important. And I'm sure most pitchers know about this. If they don't, like rice.
What are you doing?
Yeah. It's really cool. Also, shout out Will Smith started his Major League Baseball career with the Kansas City Royals. So
look at that.
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that it was Will Smith, I was like, what has Will Smith done recently? Thinking of the actor. And then, and then you started saying Will Smith, the professional sports baller, and I was like, what has the catcher of the Los Angeles Dodgers done recently? And then you brought up Will Smith, the Texas Ranger. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
I know things.
So that was my progression. Just getting that out there.
I would like to say when I saw it on the rundown that I knew immediately what Tom was talking about. So learn sports, Mob. How about that?
Did you know that the catcher of the Los Angeles Dodgers was also named Will Smith? Yeah.
No. I did not.
No.
I
had a conversation.
Hear that, Austin?
Yeah.
Mob's looking for a job.
Hey, I will say that I had a conversation with a friend the other day about baseball, and I admittedly the amount that I follow baseball has just since in the last 10 years,
like a typical American.
Yeah. It doesn't take as much like real estate in my brain as it used to. So, admittedly.
Yep.
I would like to say, though, while we're on the subject of essentially the Texas Rangers winning the World Series, which if you've been living under a rock, the Texas Rangers won their first World Series this past week. There have been a lot of videos, and I wish I had kind of saved a few of them. There are a lot of videos of old Texas men, seeing the Rangers win the World Series for the first time. And it's so inspirational and uplifting. Now, I live in Texas, and, I've been known on this podcast and the Cineboys podcast to, talk about my disdain of Texas sports and sports teams and sports fans. But I have to admit, kind of got me emotional.
Oh, yeah, watching those. The Rangers are also not one of those teams.
Yeah,
they're not the Cowboys.
No,
they're not
the Astros.
They're not Astros. They're kind of harmless. And so them winning a World Series is just kind of nice.
Yeah. It's good for them.
I feel that way about the Rangers and the Texans. Every other
right.
They to me, it's not that I like those teams. It's more that I just don't have a strong emotional disdain for them.
They feel harmless.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. They're kind of like all the other. Well, I guess I like the Mavericks. I like the Spurs. Maybe
the Spurs.
I should walk it back a little bit.
Yeah, and the Spurs for how loved they are, they should be disdained with their run of just luck with the draft lottery.
Yeah. So
they went through 2-3 years of being bad, and then they get Wemby.
Wemby. Oh my gosh. I live an hour and a half, less than an hour and a half away from San Antonio, and I want to go see Wemby so bad. I have yet to go to an NBA game, and I think that's going to happen soon because Wemby looks like a lot of fun to watch. Also, nice. Just I don't know if this is nice to say, but he looks completely unnatural in a fascinating way.
You know those clips of glitchy players on NBA 2K? Mm-hmm. That's him.
Yeah.
The long arms, the long legs, he's just an NBA 2K glitch.
He dressed up, so they came to the arena for Halloween dressed up. He dressed up as Slender Man, and I was like, I thought it was him. I thought it was Slender Man.
It's terrifying.
He has the exact proportions of Slender Man. It was
hilarious.
Wild. Yeah. So shout out to the Texas Rangers. Shout out to all those diehard Texas Rangers fans who've waited a lifetime to see their team win the World Series. That is so cool. I'm very excited for them.
Agreed.
And then if you feel like having a good just man cry, go ahead and watch some YouTube or not YouTube, but Instagram reels or TikTok reels of old men seeing the Rangers win for the first time. So congratulations. And shout out to Will Smith. Hopefully some lucky team will pick him up and he'll win 4 World Series in a row. That'd be wild. So, well, cool. Tom, thanks for your good. Let's move on to our good friend, Mob. Mob, what's your good of the week?
My good of the week is children dressing up as NFL football coaches.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically, this week we got the kid who dressed up as probably the most fun NFL coach to follow at this moment in Mike McDaniel.
Oh, yeah.
The reason this is a good for me is because I, as a child, also dressed up as NFL coaches for Halloween. I was Mike Martz one year in St. Louis, and so it was just good to see a kid carrying on that tradition.
Yeah.
Did anybody dress up as Mark Davis? Because that would be hilarious.
Yeah, and you could, like, with Mark Davis, I'm sure we'll get into it later, you could literally walk around with a knife, too, on Halloween. And it would be accurate.
That's great. Yeah, they asked him about, they asked Mike McDaniel about kids dressing up as him, and his reaction was as funny as the video.
That does not compute.
No.
That's his reaction. He just goes, that does not compute.
Right.
And then he was like, they're like, yeah, he did the Sunday night run. And he goes, am I faster than the kid?
Yeah. So Mike McDaniel, like I'm sure you guys saw this. He walked into his press conference in Germany the other day and basically was like, I know what you guys are thinking. I'm a lot bigger in person. And then everybody was just silent. The joke did not land. So yeah, Mike McDaniel. So the Chiefs play the Dolphins very early tomorrow morning in Germany. And I'm conflicted. Well, I'm not conflicted. I'm rooting for the Chiefs 100%. But I don't think I've ever liked an opposing team's coach as much as I like Mike McDaniel.
He's genuinely the best. Like,
yes.
There's so many clips of him, and like before games, refs will come up to him, and he'll just be like, are we having some self-respect here between the two of us? And it's just like, it's so nice. He's like, look, you guys have a hard job. I'm going to try and let you guys do that job. And like, he's so not an NFL coach.
Yeah. It's almost as if like one of our friends became an NFL head coach. Like that's the personality. And it's so unlike almost any other coaching personality in the NFL ever.
See, I haven't really watched much of his press conferences or anything. Is he like a Ted Lasso type?
No, he's just... It's almost like he takes a hit of his like marijuana pen before he goes up there, honestly. And like it's almost like a stream of consciousness. And he's not like buttoned up by any means. Like someone asked him, they signed Eli Apple, and they were like, "What's your plan for Apple?" And he was like, "Apple, it's a fruit." And then he's like, "Oh, you mean Eli?" Like that. No coach does that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
What a funny guy.
Tom, if you don't know a lot about Mike McDaniel, you're in luck because Hard Knocks in season will follow the Miami Dolphins, and I believe that premieres soon, within the next couple of weeks. Yeah, it's November now. Wow. So that is going to be a must watch.
Yeah, just because he's hilarious. Yeah. I love him.
It helps that the Dolphins are good.
Yeah, and he's a really good coach.
Yeah, and just kind of a good dude.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've ever seen any of his like interviews and stuff like that or profiles, but pretty cool dude. Cool. So yeah, kids dressing up like coaches for Halloween. What did you guys go as for Halloween?
Farmers.
Death.
And Evelyn was our baby chick.
Sick.
So Tom had a good wholesome costume. Farmers. Ma was death.
Well, that's because that's what I felt like.
Oh, were you sick?
It's too bad.
Yeah, I'm still fighting like a sinus infection.
Man. I'm sorry, dude.
Can't.
Do you know any good? Do you know any good ENTs?
One or two.
All right. Good stuff.
But it's so hard to get into the ENT these days, you know.
Yeah. Do you go downstairs and be like, "Hey, can I get an appointment?" She's like, I'm drinking coffee right now.
I'm booked solid.
No. Sorry.
Yeah. That's how it goes. She's like, "Are you going to pay me?" And I'm like, "What are we doing?"
All right. Well, Mob, thanks for your good, bro. All right. Well, here's what I'm good on. I'm good on it. Extra hour of sleep. Tonight is daylight savings, the good daylight savings, which in general hate daylight savings. It's dumb. Mm-hmm. Why do we do it?
Let's get rid of it.
Yeah. Actually, I feel that way in the spring. This time of year, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Daylight savings is the bomb.
The tough part about this one, though, is that it's just darker a lot longer.
Yeah, like you get done with work and like the sun's already down.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No fun.
Well, I hear this one is worse for parents because no one tells kids that there's an extra hour and they don't understand that. So
and they're just ready to party at 4 a.m. That's not ideal.
I guess I'll find out.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah. Wait, is this the first daylight savings with the kiddo?
Mm-hmm. What time does she normally get up?
7.
Yeah, so she's getting up at 6 tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, maybe. She didn't really like get up on her own. She kind of just waits till we get her up. But maybe
perfect.
tomorrow will be different.
That's nice.
Tomorrow might be the turning point.
Maybe she'll be like, "Where are they?" You know.
Where's
the good
Tom?
news is maybe it'll feel fine to you because I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I don't either. But I'm with you. I feel like we gotta get rid of the system.
It's stupid.
I don't know what purpose it serves anymore. It might have been useful a long time ago. I don't think it is anymore.
Yeah, most people aren't farmers anymore.
Yeah.
Shout out to farmers, though. You have a hard job. Thank you for all you do. But most people don't do your job. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so there's also so much technology that they can use to farm in the dark now.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, they can farm in the dark. The technology does exist.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, Arizona and Hawaii have it figured out, you know. They just said no.
Yeah, don't want to do that.
More states should maybe do
that.
Yeah,
it was funny. I had a buddy move to Arizona, and I was just like, "Hey, what time zone are you in?" He goes, "Depends on the time of the year." I was like, "Oh, so you live how God intended it."
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, shout out to daylight savings. Don't forget. Well, actually, you don't really have to set your clocks anymore.
Well, I mean, your ovens, your microwaves.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You know, any analog clock you own, you should set it back before you go to bed.
Yeah. So be sure to do that. Put that on your calendar. Although this episode, again, might come out the day or 2 days after. And if you forgot, that's on you. So.
Right. We tried.
Right. We did try.
Tried to warn you.
All right. Well, let's get into our backs of the week. So, Tom.
Yeah.
What's back for you, bro?
Weirdly enough, Texas Rangers related, but boys, Creed is back.
Creed is back.
Creed is back. They're huge. Texas Rangers use them to celebrate like after every game. 4 games too, I think. But Creed was even at one of the games, and everyone was singing along. And it's just a weird time to be alive because they were huge 20 years ago and then fell off for a long time. And then just like the last year or so, just came roaring right back to the top. And I don't know what's up anymore. And it's just weird.
A couple of weeks ago, after the Minnesota Vikings win, didn't Kirk Cousins also be like, "Yeah, we listened to Creed while we were working out the other day"?
Yeah.
So like,
it's almost like they're a good luck charm now.
Right. Unless you count, as long as you don't count Kirk Cousins blowing his Achilles.
Or Achilles.
Yeah. Pop! Then yeah, no, it totally makes sense. Right. Yeah, it's kind of weird seeing Creed all over the place.
Yeah.
And then I guess they're going on tour.
They're going on tour. They've got a cruise next spring, and then they're going on tour with a bunch of bands next summer. It's like the Creed Summer of '99 tour. Because we're all just trying to like relive the glory days.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I might go. Do I want to spend money on it?
I had a chance to see when I was in Mexico earlier this year. I had a chance to go to a free Scott Stapp concert, and I didn't. Do I regret it
to this day? Yeah.
No.
If it's just okay, yeah.
It was on this thing. It was like part of our resort. They like bring in these people for concerts, and he just happened to be there that week. And it looked like it didn't look like your normal concert where like you could come and go as you pleased. It looked like more of like you were in an auditorium, and it would be weird if you just got up and left. And if I'm going to a Scott Stapp concert, I want the ability to leave whenever I want.
It actually started off, I'm sure, as like a karaoke night, and he just happened to be
and he just showed up.
It turned into a free concert. Yeah.
No, I had a ticket that had his face on it. It was weird.
Yeah, I don't know how I would feel about just a solo Scott Stapp. Like, what are his solo songs? Does he just do Creed songs the entire time?
Right. I would hope so.
Yeah, because I don't think I can name a Scott. I know he does have a solo record or two, but I can't name a Scott Stapp song.
It was just really funny because we got there and like to get the tickets, and this is not why we did it either. We got roped into it. We had to sit through like a timeshare presentation. And we were like, no, we're not doing this. But they were like, have you heard of, he's real famous, Scott Stapp? And I just laughed. And they were like, what, do you like his music? And I was like, sure. I'll let you think you got this big star. Well, he is a big star, kind of. But for weird, it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I feel like honestly this resurgence, it all started as a joke on social media, but it's just become so prevalent now that it's just like, oh, wait a second.
Do you think
let's bring these guys back?
Do you think they're aware of where they are in pop culture? Do you think like they know?
I think they know. I think they have some sort of like self-awareness as far as like their status in pop culture.
Yeah. But
I feel like maybe they what were you going to say?
I was just going to say they seem like they've got a good sense of humor about it, at least.
Yes, at least these days. Yeah. I feel like Scott Stapp in particular is probably in a place in his life now where he kind of is good with it. I don't think you could have said that 10 years ago.
No.
Dude's had some issues, but he seems to be in a position in his life where, he's kind of level-headed.
And also, like, at this point, they got to be thinking, this is free money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Publicity, money, yeah.
We haven't had to make music in forever.
Yeah. People just want the hits.
Regardless of whether or not it's ironic, people want to see them and want to listen to them.
They just want to get a big old staph infection right into the old ear canal.
Oh, man, that is gross. But I do like that. I do like that. Yeah. I mean, because here's the thing. Like, honestly, I don't know if I would spend money on a ticket, but I would go. Like if it were an option, because I think it's like them and Three Doors Down are going on tour. Like, I'm not going to spend my money unless it's cheap. But I would
look.
I wouldn't say no.
I might spend my money on Three Doors Down. That was my band.
I loved them both.
Yeah,
Middle school time was rocking out Horde.
Yeah, for sure. That was the jam. And Stained was a little darker.
Yeah, I never got into Stained.
Yeah, Stained had some good songs. That'll sometimes they'll come on the radio and I'll be like, I'm not going to change it.
Do you think? Yeah. Do you think our kids are going to ironically be listening to Nickelback and bring them back when we're older?
I don't know, because that was the other thing I noticed is that because they were huge around the exact same time. But they're not going on this tour. And I feel like they're of the same caliber.
But they stayed relevant and making music longer than Creed.
Yeah, they still have been a band. Yeah, they've been a consistent band like the whole time. Like they've been around. They never broke up.
And like you could still hear their music on the radio like, I don't know what, 5-7 years ago. Like they're still making music. Good.
So
it's like, it's kind of, to me, it's like that Creed kind of like, oh, everyone hates him, but then you let it rest a couple of years, and then you're like, Higher goes pretty hard.
Yeah, it goes hard.
So maybe we could be Creed and Nickelback apologists on this podcast.
I don't know if I'm willing to go that far.
Oh, okay.
Well, but I think it's fair to say, like, seeing like clips like that trailer, and then just some of the recent clips of like the guys from Creed at the Rangers game and whatnot, and just like interviews that they've done. Mostly Scott Stapp. I think I've seen some interviews with him. It's just like, you kind of forget that these are also real people and not just like sound bites in your headphones or whatnot. It's just like maybe we should be a little bit more fair to these guys because they're just trying to do what they love doing.
But also and
we're just ripping them to pieces.
What's funny about it is they were very successful at what they were doing. And selling out stadiums. So it's like,
oh yeah. Making gold records.
Right. Like, you hear the noise and you're still selling out, like you saw in that clip, large stadiums. So there are people who still love you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I also think with all of the negativity surrounding social media and like how it's ruining society, there is also an element to social media that makes people a lot more accessible. And I think with that really helps. At least I've noticed, in situations like this, like the accessibility of celebrities helps to humanize them a little bit. And so I feel like that maybe changes people's perspective. Whereas like, say 10, 15 years ago, celebrities were just not, and this it's across the board, musicians, actors, just famous people in general, like they weren't accessible. So like you would get an idea of somebody and then that's just the idea and they're not a real person because they're famous. And now it's like, okay, now we can kind of see people like as people.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
of course, there is a flip side of that coin where, accessibility makes people, hate people more, which, okay, cool. But I don't know. Just a thought. So.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
It's just, now that you can see so much more of like who these guys are, and it's just like, you know what? Just let them do what they want to do. They love just playing music, and whether it's good or bad, like who cares? Like,
yeah, let them live their lives.
Just give them a rest.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Tom, thanks for your back of the week. Let's move on to Bob. Bob, what's your back of the week?
European football. And you might be thinking,
nice.
he's going to talk about soccer. No, I'm not.
Football.
No, I'm not. The NFL is back in Europe, so we've got a couple more 8 a.m. games.
Yeah. I'm excited. I've got the the good news is kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier. It's a good week for the Chiefs to play at 8:30 in the morning because we do get an extra hour of sleep. But yeah, Germany, Frankfurt, what's up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Das Boot.
Been there, seen it, done that.
You been to Frankfurt?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
When I was a wee lad.
Ah, yes.
So you remember it very well.
Very.
Yeah. Are you fluent in German?
I remember that trip like it was 25 years ago.
Nice. There's also the talk of Roger Goodell just hinting at maybe putting a team over in Europe at some point, probably in the UK.
Would that make money?
I mean, I don't think it wouldn't make money, but does it make sense?
Good luck getting players to go over there for.
Right.
Like, it makes no sense. There's so many hurdles you have to. He's always going to hint at that because he's been hinting at it for 10 years. So it's not going to happen. It's a logistical nightmare. And honestly, part of me wonders if the reason they didn't have the Jaguars have a bye week after their second London game this year was to see what the effects on all of that. Like, I think they're testing out all these types of logistics they got to get through. But like, I can't imagine, you're offered the same contract to play in Texas, or you could go and play in London for half the year. Like,
yeah, tough.
There's a competitive advantage, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people want to play in London, but I doubt it.
Yeah,
but like, what's the fan base over there?
I mean, people go. They sell out the stadiums, but it's not like they're like, oh, the Jaguars are coming. I'm a huge Jaguars fan, and it's like a home field advantage. Yeah,
it's also like if Manchester United came and played one game in LA, they're going to sell out that stadium
for sure,
right? Or whatever the big European soccer team is. But like,
I think that's a big one.
That's such an international sport, though. I just have a hard time seeing American football being huge anywhere else but America.
I think it's pretty big. It's pretty international.
Okay.
You just don't have, you don't have like the MLS version of soccer in London for football or in England for football.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would also like to see, and I'm sure there are stats on this, like as far as NFL games being played in Europe, like I would like to see like the winning percentage of the team that gets there first. Like I feel like you have
there's statistical data that it's pretty high that the team that spends a longer time there has a better chance of winning. Which
is not great because I know the Dolphins got there I think on like Sunday or Monday and the Chiefs didn't get there till Thursday. Yeah. So not ideal if you're a Chiefs fan like us. But yeah, like that has to, like the adjustment there just seems so obnoxious. Like you fly and then you got to readjust your body in 2 days.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Dog.
No thanks.
I don't think it'll ever happen.
Yeah. So, but is this we have the game in Frankfurt tomorrow? Is this the last European game on the NFL?
No, I think there's one more Germany game.
Okay, Germany.
Yeah. So they did London for a long time, and now they're doing Germany.
All right. I'd like to see a game in France. Let's get the French game going.
Would you?
I don't know how. Sure.
Yeah. So next Sunday, not tomorrow. Next Sunday, They get the barn burner of the Colts versus the Patriots.
Oh yeah, what a game, baby!
What it's like, game. Hey, we're gonna give you, because you have to suffer through the Colts and the Patriots. We are going to give you probably the most anticipated NFL game, Germany. Here you go. It's the best we got. Have fun.
Yeah, good luck. I would say that I would like to go to a European game myself as a non-European. I think my best chance would have been this game on Sunday.
But I'm not sure I care if I'm watching football in America or Europe, to be honest.
Yeah, but then you can go get a schnitzel.
Yeah, go do some sightseeing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to go back.
Yeah, no, I'd love to go to Germany, and I'd love to visit Germany, but I'm not sure like the focal point of me going to Germany would be like, I'm going to go watch a team that I can watch 30 minutes away from my house.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Fair.
All right. Well, be sure to tune in. Set your alarms for early tomorrow morning to catch the Chiefs and the Dolphins. Or if this is coming out a few days later, I hope you did set your alarm. Again, not on us.
What a great game.
Yeah. What a game. That team did well.
I am happy and upset at the same time for the outcome.
And I think you are warranted in those feelings. So, yeah. All right. Well, let's get to my back of the week. I'll tell you what's back. Dropping with the boys. You know what I'm talking about. We got the Fortnite OG map just dropped, I believe, yesterday.
5 million concurrent players at one time yesterday on Fortnite.
Oh boy!
Have you
5 million?
Have you dropped in on OG map, Mob?
Yes.
Do they have no build mode on OG map right now?
Yes.
Okay, good.
They're not. They're never taking no build mode away.
Good, because no build mode is what got me back in. Well, so with Fortnite, it was kind of the first accessible battle royale for like console players. So I mean, I know PUBG came before it, but we didn't get PUBG until we had already had Fortnite, and Fortnite was like, I don't like building things. My brain can't handle trying to survive, and also I need to build really fast. So it just fell to the wayside. And then when No Build came out a couple years ago, it's like, okay, this is my jam. I can do this. So I'm excited to hop back into it and just try the OG map, No Build. So that'll be a good time. Also, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 comes out this week. Which if you pre-ordered like I did, you already have access to the campaign, which is
already, because apparently it's 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, I know somebody the other day.
That's not much at all.
Yeah, somebody the other day.
It's a $70 expansion pack, Tom.
Yeah, my buddy the other day texted me, sent me a picture of him starting to play it, and then texted me 3 hours later, beat it, like, real quick. I've played a few minutes of it. It is pretty cool. It's a little bit different than most Call of Duty campaigns because it's you kind of can just do the mission however you want to do it. You don't have to follow strict guidelines. But all that to say, this is the time of year where dropping with the boys is just back. You know.
Yeah, but when does the new Warzone map come out?
I don't know. I will say this in regards to Call of Duty, I have a love-hate relationship with purchasing the actual game. Because some years I'm like, I'm just not going to spend the money. And I find on those years when I don't spend the money and I don't play multiplayer, I tend to be ass at Warzone. So
now you understand Warzone's not actually free.
Yeah, Warzone is not free. I mean, Warzone, yes, technically you don't have to spend any money to get it. But then you get in there and you're just getting absolutely dropped by sweats. And you're like, because you don't have your weapons leveled up. You don't know what you're doing. You're not in practice. That's the benefit of buying the game. You get
I have a love-hate relationship with Call of Duty because Warzone's probably my favorite battle royale. I've just always played Call of Duty, so it's my favorite. And it feels like they don't care about the user. Because, I'm a lemming. I'm going to play it no matter what, and it sucks. But because I have fun, but also like there's so many frustrating aspects of the game. And you look at like Fortnite and people are like, we want the OG map back. And they're like, okay, here you go.
Yeah.
Like they listen to their community and it's like, why can't Call of Duty do that? You're going to make me pay $70 to hate myself.
They're going to make the money no matter what.
Right. And here's the thing. I am the problem. I understand that.
Yeah, I think that Fortnite does a good job of catering to the sweats and to the filthy casuals like us, where Call of Duty really just kind of caters to the sweats. And like the more you play the game, like the more advantage you have. And it's like that's great when you have a lot of time to play the game.
Yeah.
But when you're like our age and just like you have things to do, like all I want to do, honestly, is I just want to hop in a game with my friends and I want to have a good time. So I don't want to spend a ton of time getting better. Although in this case, when I buy Call of Duty, I tend to spend more time in it. But I just want the ability to just hop in, have a good time, play well. Like I have a harder time just hopping in with friends and sucking. Like it's not as much fun.
Correct.
But when you can just kind of hop in and be okay, that's a good time.
Well, and they added the ranked system, and once they added the ranked system, like it was actually more fun because I was playing with people that were either worse than me or at least close to my, like a little bit better than me. We weren't getting just taken to Pound Town every drop in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm excited to play, but I also just want developers to hear my plea and create games where
they'll hear your plea and then they'll take your money and laugh.
Like so me and my buddy Jake hopped in and started playing Sea of Thieves the other night, and it's like this is what I'm looking for, just a nice relaxing game to play with a friend. Like it was like not very stressful. We were just like, all right, we have to man our ship. We're a 2-man crew, and we played for like an hour, and it's like, yeah, this is kind of what I'm into. It's peaceful. I don't want to hop in with my buddy Jake to a game where we're just getting absolutely curb stomped the entire time. So, yeah. But all that to say, I am still excited for Fortnite OG map and Modern Warfare 3 coming out this week. So, yeah, that's my back of the week. So let's move on to our uglies of the week. So, Tom, what's your ugly of the week?
Yeah, I got a couple.
Nice.
Well, first, KC Chiefs lost last weekend. That was tough.
Oh.
But, it's hard when your quarterback is suffering from the flu and just looks like shit.
Yeah.
And I'm no expert. I don't have strong analysis of football, as you guys know, but Denver did look like they had a really good defense, and it just wasn't in the cards for us. And it was an ugly loss, but hopefully we can bounce back.
Yeah, I would say that when I found out before the game that Patrick Mahomes had the flu, my immediate thought was, "Oh my gosh, he's going to demolish the Broncos," because that's the mythos of Patrick Mahomes. It's like, oh, he's got some sort of affliction. Watch him ball out. This was the first time where it's like, yeah, he's got the flu, and you could tell that something was off.
He did not look good.
They like showed him on the sidelines at one point. I thought he was about to cry. Like it looked like he was just so exhausted and like not feeling great, and at the same time he's throwing picks. Yeah, it was rough.
Getting sacked.
Yeah.
It was a tough watch.
Yeah.
But it also could have been a lot worse. Like it wasn't like that big of a spread, I didn't think. But
yeah, I was just so mad the rest of the night. I texted people and I was like, I don't work this hard all week to lose to the Broncos.
Yeah, it was truly upsetting. But what hurts more this week, I think, is knowing that this was the week that Dune 2 was supposed to be released and it was not.
Yeah,
and I was reminded of that fact, and we're all crushed because it's a fall movie. And now it's coming out in the spring when movies that get released in the spring are shit.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful.
It is very disrespectful.
We're going to have this weird, like, COVID backup again.
Yeah, I know. It's already happening.
It's going to be annoying.
Yeah.
Like,
It is, I feel like the slate for fall movies right now is just not great.
It's not there.
David Fincher's movie comes out on Netflix this coming weekend, which will be good. I saw it last week. There'll be a review on korkedbats.com this week before it comes out, but it's good. So I hope that gives you guys some hope for something to watch. But
at least we're getting a Michael Fassbender resurgence.
Yeah. And then he's also got Taika Waititi's new movie, which comes out in a couple of weeks. So I mean, there are movies, but it's like earlier this year, the movie that I was most excited for was Dune 2. I'm a big Dune stan. I'm a nerd for Dune. I love it. I love the books. I love the movies. I love the 84 Dune, which is a piece of shit, but still holds a place in my heart.
But it's a spectacle.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it feels like just that delay alone has left a big hole in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. And I feel the same.
Yeah.
It's ugly.
So
I feel ugly this week.
Yeah, you don't look ugly. If that makes you feel better.
It does. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, good.
I've been working out.
Good. So yeah, Chiefs lose. Dune 2's not out. Ugh. So I'm hoping that it's made up for today with the Tigers win and tomorrow with the Chiefs win. I feel like we're owed that. Is that fair to say?
We deserve it.
Yeah, we deserve it. So, anyways,
we're straight white men.
Thank you for your ugly of the week, Mob. What's your ugly of the week?
Well, boys, my ugly of the week is us, and I'm not talking about physically looking. We're all, very good-looking men. I'm talking from the standpoint that the last time we got together, we put down some curses. Not meaning to, but we did it. Tom, you came on the show. You wore your Matt Stafford jersey. The next Sunday,
I'm never wearing that again.
Next Sunday, they got blown out,
demolished
by the Ravens. Kevin bought a Phillies hat during their run, wore it on the show. Guess what? They lost in the NLCS.
Yep.
Me,
sick hat though.
Look, I'm holding myself accountable too. I came on this show and I said it's going to be a good week for Mizzou. On Wednesday, Ryan Wingo will be a Missouri Tiger, and he was a Texas Longhorn.
Damn.
So we really need to look ourselves in the mirror, figure out what we're doing, and stop it. So that's why I'm telling you today, Georgia's going to blow out Mizzou.
Yeah. It's gonna happen. Yeah, we're going to get absolutely demolished.
Spanked.
Yeah. Zero chance of winning.
A good old Georgia paddling.
They'll come out and they'll look like little boys against the big boys of Georgia.
Yeah, and then tomorrow the Chiefs are just going to get boat raced by the Dolphins.
Tyreek Hill is going to go all Randy Moss, 3 catches, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and be sad.
Yeah,
nothing to be excited about.
Nothing to have hope for at all. So yeah, there's to us cursing things. Hopefully,
yeah. Look, someone has to hold us accountable, and who better than us?
Yeah, our track record's not great, so hopefully that turns around. So yeah, Mom, thank you for your ugly of the week, and then my ugly of the week, which is kind of actually my good, if I'm being really honest, is the Las Vegas Raiders. Whew. What a shit show.
Well, look, this is the best move they've made all year.
True. But I do love when teams I hate just are crumbling in front of us. Now, yes, so if you don't know, Josh McDaniels, coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, was fired this week. And I'm trying to figure out how he was fired because I've heard a lot of stories.
Okay, the P.F. Chang story is not real. Just FYI, exactly. That's not real.
What's the
P.F.? So when these things happen, PFT commenter from Barstool will put out a little blurb that looks like it's from The Athletic, but he writes them and then credits The Athletic and says, what a great scoop. So he said that part of the reason that Josh McDaniels got fired was he showed up on Halloween dressed like Mark Davis. And Mark Davis went along with it and ordered him from his favorite restaurant, P.F. Chang's, his favorite meal, and he sat down to lunch with him, and after he was done, he said, how about you open up your fortune cookie? And Josh McDaniels opened it up and said, you're fired.
Yeah.
That is not a real story. That is from PFT Commenter. It's hilarious.
But how legendary would that have been?
So many people think it's real.
Yeah. Well, I also heard a story, and I doubt this is real also, and it's kind of the same but different context, is that Josh McDaniels was out with his kids trick-or-treating dressed as Mark Davis, and they went to Mark Davis's house and he fired him there. I heard that also, which also I'm positive is not true, but that would just be so great.
Well, it's because it happened at like midnight on Halloween.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Josh McDaniels is fired. Now I will say I watched the press conference with interim coach Antonio Pierce. He seems pretty fired up. Apparently the players are super stoked that Josh McDaniels got fired, or at least that is the word.
There were videos the next day of them like playing hoops in the locker room. Like just like fun is back.
Yeah, we can have a good time now. Will they end up being good? Probably not, and I hope not because I hate the Raiders. But
look, it's funny because you're like, I just love seeing all these teams I hate in disarray. How long has it been since an AFC team has not been in disarray?
Right. Like,
I wonder the entire Patrick Mahomes run. They've all been just like weirdly bad in certain ways. Like, yeah, you have the Chargers who have been talented and good and made the playoffs, but like they're still the Chargers and have done weird Chargers things.
Yeah. Yeah, it is like I wonder if the Broncos had lost to the Chiefs last week, like what that would have done. Like, would it have been just, well, I think you probably go into that game expecting to lose to the Chiefs. So I wonder now if they're like, all right, we got to figure it out. Things are going to look good from moving forward. So
that's one of my favorite things is when you have a divisional game and the bad team beats the good team and the bad team thinks they have it figured out. And then you realize, oh, divisional games are just weird. They're always just weird.
Yeah. To me, it's shocking that we hadn't, or the Broncos hadn't won against us since 2015 because that sentiment exactly, like division games are just weird. And sometimes you just drop a division game that you have no business dropping. Like we had a few in Patrick Mahomes era where it's like, I think it was like 2-3 years ago, we lost to the Raiders and it was
at home. Yeah.
We should not, that should not have happened, but it did.
It just, they're always played close. They're always weird. And like, yeah, that's exactly the reason that the streak is so insane is because you play them twice a year, every year. And if you played a full season, the Chiefs went 16-1 against them. That's nuts.
Yeah, it's wild. So, anyways, at least the Raiders are in disarray. And that brings me a little bit of joy.
They're all still in disarray. Let's not they're all still nuts. It's fun.
Yeah. Well, that does it for our good backs and our uglies. And that's going to be about it for us here on the Junk Drawer. But before we go, let's, of course, do our Baldwin College football update. So I think last time we got together and did a Junk Drawer podcast, the Polar Bears were set to face Bates, and they ended up winning. So congratulations on the win versus Bates. However, the next week, unfortunately, no. It looks like they had maybe a bye week. They had Wesleyan and they lost. So we're coming off a loss. But hey, we got November 4th, which is today.
Amherst
versus Amherst at home. So let's hope for a nice little turnaround. Let's get a win streak going. You know what I'm saying? We've got 1, 2, 3 games left of the season. Let's end it strong. So right now, the Polar Bears are 3-3. So definitely an improvement over the past few years. So
yeah, I'm still upset that they didn't go undefeated. That's what was my expectation, and I couldn't be more disappointed.
You were a believer. You were for sure a believer at the beginning of the season.
So. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Hey, look, the Polar Bears have a chance to have a winning record, which they haven't had in a few years. Right now they're 500. So let's hope for the best. Go Polar Bears. All right. Well, guys, that's going to bring us to the end of our journey today. Anybody else got anything they need to get off their chest before we go?
No.
Fire Mo.
All right.
He said.
Ahoy.